remember to give a thumbs up, leave comments, and yeah, stuff like that. Very important, very important. Let me see here if it has started now. Yes, it has. Wow, that was some. What's that? Heart. Feel free to ask questions. Okay, yeah, then we're on. Hope somebody's there. If he is watching, I'm gonna do some more close up on the face first, so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just gonna move it a little bit more here. I think I'm getting closer to likeness now. Going a little bit back and forth, but yeah, I think I'm getting somewhere. So I'm just gonna do some more work. Of course, I have forgot my glasses, which is not necessary today because my vision is quite good for some reason. So here we go. Feel free to ask questions. I will answer them to the best of my abilities. Just gonna, I think I need some glasses actually. Just gonna go fetch them if I can find them. Yeah, that was easier thought than done. Oh, there they are. I have a mess in my studio, and it's always, there's something wrong with my table in a way. Everything seems to wind up on my table. Everything. And it's so nice when it's clean. But, you know, the hyperactive artist brain. Hello, Amalia. Hi, my love. Hi, my love. Yeah, you are, sweetie. Sweetheart. She even managed to get me a piano today. The sweet father came and handed me an antique. So that was nice. So now I'm going to start learning the piano, which I've been talking about since I saw the movie Beethoven with Gary Oldman in I think it was 1991 or 92. I was so fascinated by that movie or his playing. I just fell in love with piano, and I've been thinking about it and thinking about it. That was 1990. No, yeah, I think it was 92 actually. I saw that movie for the first time. So yeah, of course it's just a hobby, but also as an artist, I think it's nice to have a hobby, something else, you know, that is creative, and it's really good for the brain to learn to paint. Learn to paint, learn to use a instrument, and now, sweetheart, if you have some questions or something you think about, you can ask me questions or something. You can, of course, do that. It's not so many who actually do that on my stream, so if you want to do that, for the ones who is watching, please give a thumbs up. It's very important. And if you can leave just a comment, just say hi. That would be greatly appreciated, because it's really important for the algorithm. Now in this portrait, it's way more subdued than the other one. In the other one I have a totally different color. Here it is more toned down, and it's kind of, it feels very soft, so I need to paint it soft, but I have some textures here, but the whole thing is kind of soft, and that is because when I took the picture quite far away, and therefore you don't get that close-up skin tone type of thing. So I kind of have to change to a kind of different kind of thinking in this one. So okay, with me. Also, I think I need to use a lot of glazing, but it's quite hard for me to actually get the tones down. Down, like Arnold. Get down. We shouldn't laugh, actually. We should never laugh of our own jokes. Well, sometimes. But, yeah. They say so anyway, I don't care. Unless you're a total arsehole. Like a guy called Thomas, that I was in prison with. He was a total arsehole, total narcissist, stupid. Too dumb to be a psychopath, and he always was sitting there laughing. For every sentence he threw out, he was laughing at some jokes. It was so annoying. Couldn't stand him in the end, because it wasn't even funny, you know. Anyway, that was a digression. Only 3 people are watching me now. Oh, and it's so sad. All the things I make for you. Anyway. I think I want to add, I think I'm gonna go and add some, I need to add some information to the stream. I'll be there soon. We just need to add some. Yeah. Okay. So, now we're good. Mhm. So, now I'm okay. Okay. Now we're going. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. I just needed to add some thumbnails and stuff. Please give a thumbs up. Yeah, that's good. 7 have given thumbs up. That is great. Hello, BA. Humblinger, thumbs up. Really like the onion drawing. Thank you. I also have, I did a painting of that onion, the same onion, with water-based paint. I'm going to post a short video about that painting also tomorrow or later tonight. So we can actually see how water-based oil paint works out. I have actually more videos, small videos of my prison art, so I'm gonna post just to have some talk about stuff and yeah, show that work. And I really need to start drawing again. It is a shame. I've been out now for almost 1.5 years and I haven't done any drawing yet. And it's a shame because it's such a nice flow using a pen or pencil. Also charcoal. I love working with charcoal, so I would love to do that. And there's so much. I'm also gonna start doing some clay. Start with my beautiful girl and make a buste, as it's called, a bust. This is a bust of her in clay, and do it in plaster. And, because I used to do that when I went to art school. I actually did that, and it was quite nice because it's basically like how I think when it comes to my paintings. I think like a sculptor. And try to sculpt them. And, yeah. My other painting was the portrait I had some streams of. Was very well, what's called, received. They told me they meant it was the best because there's a lot of portraits of other people that worked with the shipping industry in that place, in that firm. Or union, it's basically a union, and he told me he thought it was the best one. And that's of course a compliment that makes it worth it. I was really struggling with that one, and this is a different struggle because it's a neons on a different level. There's a lot of blue in this. It's a lot of greenish, bluish. There's a lot of ish colors. In the other one, there were a little bit more to work with when it comes to the skin tones and stuff. Here is basically just it's not so much texture, as I said, because the camera doesn't kind of pick up the skin texture when you take a photo that is quite far away. So, but then again, it's more, it's kind of, you have to think more photorealistic, actually, in a way. So yeah. If there's someone new who's watching, you can leave a comment to say hi. Remember the thumbs up button helps me a lot. And if you want to be really sweet to me, you can always send me a super chat or something, or buy me a coffee or something like that. Also, as you know, I do coaching on PATRON. So if you'd like me to teach you how to paint, you can go and become a patron. That would be also great. But if you just give a thumbs up and watch, that's also great too. Even if you don't want to watch the whole stream, you just put it on and let it roll. The sky looks very nice. Well, yeah, it's just the first layer of paint, you know. And the first layer of paint, and that's a sad thing many times, because the first layer of paint is very often very dynamic. And the sketching, and you see all the brushwork, when I work over it, it becomes more stuffed in a way. But then you have to work more with it, with glazing, and work over it, and you kind of tighten it up, and in the end it kind of becomes, hopefully it becomes a little bit loose again. But I can't stop there, because I would feel it was cheating. It's too easy. It's too easy. But there's not much there's a lot of things happening in the sky, but there's nothing like there's this huge cloud or something like that, you know. It's just a lot of small things that happens, small clouds and stuff. So it's a different way, and this whole thing is basically a little bit different to work with than I usually do. It's so difficult when I stand like this, because this twists, and I do like this, and this twists. So it can be a good idea to pick up the mirror and look in the mirror sometimes. And maybe I should go and buy some new brushes tomorrow. And it's, you know, and see, I think I should do something with, try to work down here now, just add some in here. In this one you have, it's so easy to see the different, you have the color circle now in here, right in here. I have the kind of a caplak and the bluish or the violet, and then I have Prussian blue here, and here I have the mix between the Prussian blue and there, because it becomes the shadow color in a way. So it is basically watching, it is like watching color circle, and it's so interesting actually. So just, also I need to go, of course, I want to try to get this, I need to make some the textures in the clothes and stuff, for the shirts a little bit different than the skin. So just try to work in directions and stuff. Get some too similar now. Anyway, let's see, commission work while live streaming, chatting. Hi, typical. Well, of course, to be able to go deep, then I actually need silence, and I can't. When I really go deep and I really concentrate, I can't speak. So maybe I sometimes just put on a camera and play some audiobooks, some Stoic philosophy in the background, and don't talk at all. Maybe answer some questions or something, but only paint, just for the, so you can actually see how what I'm doing when I don't talk and only paint. Usually I listen to music or some science stuff, or also silence, but I try. The best thing, audiobooks also, if it's very interesting, but I think music is the best. Sadly, you can't do that because you have all this copyright shit. I wish I could play like whole concerts and classical concerts and concerts on music that I like, but you can't do that sadly, because you can get a strike, and you can have a lot of stuff can happen. So, no, you don't have to. No, you don't shut up. Ask me some painting questions, and you can just keep me on. The point is with these streams is that people should actually ask me questions. It's not that many that tunes in, so for now, I just started live streaming, and I also need a new camera for it. You see here, I go in directions. It's so important for people. I see now people, especially amateurs, people. I don't mean anything degrading by the word amateur, because it's actually just a word we use for people who doesn't make a living from their art. So let's call them less skilled, or people more in the beginning. They don't really know how to do different textures and how to basically read information. Because it is information, you have to kind of read the directions and stuff. Now this was totally messed up, but yeah. So I can't have sound on when I because I'm doing this with my mobile phone. What I will do when I get a new camera is to use my laptop when I do this, and then I can have the notifications off. If somebody do a super chat to ask a question, I should get a notification, so I don't need to turn back and forth and look if somebody has asked some questions or something. So see here, this one goes up. This one is difficult because this one seemed quite white. There's a white line that going down here. So what I have to do is to tone down the background and then kind of enhance this line that goes down here, which is alizarin, and the background, of course, then is what is kind of greenish or Prussian blue. It's a complementary. I'm going to show you now. Maybe you can see it, but also here, you know, I have the reddish here, and then it becomes violet, and it becomes greenish, and in this it's actually reddish or violet again. So I have green, and I have violet, and I have red, and I have greenish behind there. So it's yeah, it's amazing actually to observe all these different colors. So if I tone this a little bit down now, and I can just pull it into, you see that then this shirt thing, his neck comes popping out a little bit. And then I will go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth with that until I kind of build this thing thicker than this behind here, and it will pop out even if the colors kind of coming quite, or the nuances coming quite close together. So yeah, that is what I'm doing. You see here, also I need to kind of round this, but that comes later. The good thing is to kind of build out this, and then there's this pulls in. And you have this beard, so he has this beard stumps coming out here, like basically like the other portrait, but here is even more subtle. So it's so fascinating. Today I'm feeling kind of loose and happy. And yeah. So probably because I haven't been drinking or anything for a while. Like this, just trying to tone it down, and then again, see, his nose is a little bit odd. He has kind of a little bit lumpy. Hope he never sees this video, but he has kind of a lumpy, a little bit lumpy nose. But he has this almost he has almost this kind of royalty type of confidence in this, yeah. So he looks good. It's a good-looking man, despite his lumpy nose. It looks like he has been a little bit, maybe done some boxing or something, without actually breaking his nose totally. It's so weird, all this thing, you know, you pick up information, you go back and forth, and it's weird, as I said to my girlfriend last night. It's so weird. We used to be this amoeba in the sea like 4 billion years ago, and here we are laying in the sofa watching a movie, or to just kind of, I was actually looking at some Ukraine news and stuff, and it's weird. The human condition never seems to shock me. It's almost like Anyway, now back to painting. Painting is so, I talk about the same things in every video, so maybe that is why I don't have so. I'm not out here to. I'm not good to. I'm not the kind of. I'm not an entertainer, am I? No. Anyway, stop whining. Just do it. I enjoy it. And if I lived in Bangladesh, I could probably make a living by this. $1 a day. Just kidding. Sometimes I earn 3 actually. That's a good day. But you know, it's like when you earn some money on YouTube, you actually feel like it is a huge accomplishment, no matter how small the amount is. It's just, I do get quite well paid for my paintings, so I shouldn't whine there. But it also takes a very long time to make them. It's not done in one day. So, as you might have noticed, So yeah, see if I can actually use. Maybe I should try these. These are weird, you know, but maybe these are good for this painting because it's going to be softer, so I'm going to try that. So it's from Rosemary Go Ivory. Ivory? Go Ivory. Let's try it. It's so soft, it's almost like I can't even grab the paint. I do like the pig bristles best because they leave kind of the, shall we call it, brushwork. But this was quite nice actually for this. Just drag it like this and you get this soft, yeah, actually. I find somewhere to use them now. Maybe this is what I actually needed to fix this, a softer pencil. I tend to use the same pencil on everything, and I basically would differentiate the different textures and brushwork in my paintings are directions and the amount of pressure. On this I can't really put on any pressure, so because it's so soft that it's and that is why it kind of, but I can still use direction. And there's a lot of stuff happening in the, there's a lot of different nuances, so I can do, yeah, I can actually use it quite well on this. Maybe this was the solution. To just get this. Is anyone new? Please give a thumbs up, leave a comment and tell me what you think. Feel free to ask me questions if you're new. So, yeah, appreciate it if you do. And I will try to answer to the best of my abilities. Yes. Okay, yeah, now I saw something that I had to do. I use the small one. That was a little bit more, the small one was a little bit more stiffer. That is of course logical, because it is smaller, and it makes it a little bit tighter. So I'll try to get this nose right underneath here. I feel happy today. I was very stressed with the other portrait I was making because I had a deadline. And as I said before, deadlines are horrible when it comes to painting like this. You should have good time to do it. And because deadlines, you get very stressed. And I'm extremely manic when it comes to likeness or is this good enough and stuff like that. So when I have deadlines and I fuck up, you know, I shouldn't say that because they're going to demonetize this. But anyway, I need to get to that point where I always have a good amount of time to do my paintings, so the quality doesn't suffer. You have to have time to fail. That is so important. It's almost like training. You can't build more muscle if you don't train to failure. And it's like when you do painting, you basically have to keep on going until you reach your skill wall. I talk about that in my videos. You reach your skill wall, and then you see that you don't really know where to go. You don't know how to fix it, and then you just have to basically experiment until something happens, and you see something, you say, aha, and then wow. Like I took up these pencils here now, because the boar or pig pencil gave a little bit too much texture in the soft areas, like here. I can use them here, but when it comes to, I haven't been thinking much actually about using different pencils to different textures. I'm gonna go deeper into that from now on, and basically, let's see what kind of potential that can have. And I don't mean soft, like, it's not going to be so soft that it kind of loses its potency, of course. And it has to be some kind of give and take there. But I mean, the softer I can get this in contrast to what's behind here, the better, because then it kind of just folds even more into the background. See here? Straight behind here. Yeah, that was actually way better. This is because I can also hold it like, I always put my fingers on here, so I shouldn't actually work here before I'm going to work on the face. I should always work this way, because I many times just makes a mess of everything. So we just want to see. Yeah, it's 8 likes. It's not so bad. So give a thumbs up, and I will be a happy camper. Happy camper. So now just kind of even that out too. It's very soft. It is basically between the reddish, the orange, more and green, and yeah. So I'm doing like this, this, was that right? No, it's right. You can break it down by doing like this. It doesn't matter right now, it's so much gonna be fixed anyway, so I can do some mistakes. Yes. The funny thing is that people also, they're usually very pleased with half of what I'm actually doing with the paintings, because as long as people recognize themselves, They think it's good. But I think that it's not good until it actually, there's no doubts at all. So, anyway, I was working down here because I wanted to get the nose, but I need it. There I actually need a little. This one is just there's almost nothing left of this, but it's quite good to, even when you just hear the pencils all the way down, it's such a nice shaft, you know, and there's nothing left of the pencil. But anyway. Many people will actually just draw kind of a line like this, but it's not how it works. You have to kind of drag it like this, and you have to build that thing to make it become natural. And that's the thing with the more amateurs or people who doesn't have that skill. They don't really understand how to make the transitions to become almost invisible. And here it's even more important because there is no lines, there is no hard shadows or anything to work with, so I just need to slowly try to make the nuances just create the whole thing. I also like to jump around a little bit because, you know, when I jump around a little bit, I kind of feel that like when I started out painting when I was young, I tend to stay with a nose for 8 hours, and it kind of drove me insane because you get so. I can actually get in the end of the process when I starting to reach the end. I can actually go back and forth like that, and that actually hurts. It's physical. It becomes very intense. It's a battle. It's a mental battle to even see when to stop or yeah. I got my piano today. Ta-ta-ta-ta. Mr. 9, which just started watching, please give a thumbs up. Feel free to ask questions. Or comments. Or whatever. I need to work like crazy this spring because I have an exhibition also this summer. So I really need to get a lot of work in. So I'm trying to shift my schedule to start working in the morning. And I think it's going to be better that way to get more done, to get a better schedule. This was just nonsense what I just did now, because I didn't focus. The good thing with oil paint, you can always paint over it, you know. So. His lips are blue and I'll say basically. In the white there is quite a lot of alsarin. Around here you have the blue. Down there is a little bit more deeper reddish. This was really difficult. That was a very feminine lip. I can feel I'm getting stressed. Okay, just do like this, direction. Just sew it together. Deep underneath here, it's very deep colors. With some orange actually, because you want to put an orange. Just tone it down like this. And here also, and then just bring it back up again after. It's not thick colors here, as you can see, it's very thin. And then I just go in and we just kind of pick it back up again. Mix the colors on the canvas like this. So, giddy up, giddy up. Bring it back up. I was actually going to paint more on the sky and stuff, but I will do that during the week. Now I want to focus a little bit more on his face. And yeah, if I get, I also need to fix the hands, and there's a lot of stuff I need to get into place. Yes, yes, yes. So. Okay. Oh. Yeah, you can play Stop, Don't Mob My Friend on a new piano while I sing Dance on Your Birthday. Yeah, maybe I should try that. That would be fun. But maybe a short while to learn to play it. But you know. That's funny. That's funny. I'm actually looking more forward to using some MDMA with you all on Wednesday. That's gonna be great, you know. And flow into deep. It's not often I actually would recommend a drug, but if you have somebody you love, do some pure MDMA with them once every third month. It is such a great experience if you do it with the right person. I have also done it with a wrong person and that didn't pan out very well, but in general I have only had good experiences with it with my girlfriend, so that's nice. And we're gonna do it on my birthday, which is the 2nd of April. So if anyone want to give me a birthday gift, they can do it now by sending me a super chat. I'm becoming 57 years old and I still feel like I can't understand what happened to 27. It's crazy. How time passes. I'm kind of starting to look like him now, I think. I should take my mirror and see what bit. It's very important to use a mirror. You just look at the photo and it's actually starting to, you know, the basics of his face now is actually in. So what I need to do now is just keep on going until it just becomes him. I also see that I use symbols in the beginning. I start out with, you know, the lips, the symbols and stuff. So yeah. I need to do a sit-down birthday video, by the way. I do one every year. Just talk about art and life and things in general. Maybe I should do that also when I get a better camera. Just do sit-down videos, so if I get more people into my live streams, we can have these Q&As and just sit down without me painting and just answer questions and stuff. That would be nice. So kind of a better, more direct communication. Talk about anything, you know, politics, and religion, and history, and knowledge, and medicine, and yeah, you know, everything. Painting, of course, art. That would be fun. I'm also building up other channels, so I have a backup because I lost my first channel was deleted by YouTube. I was so sad because it actually started to take off. I had a lot of followers and the only thing I didn't, you know, I didn't tap into the potential of earning that much because I didn't think about putting in, you know, commercial breaks and stuff like that, you know, because I felt it was so tacky and it kind of ruined the videos and the flows, you know. There shouldn't be textures here. I need to scrape out some, because you can't have textures in the low areas. And that is why you shouldn't just pour in texture for its own sake. You kind of have to have address. So I see people coming in and out, and if you are new, please give a thumbs up. And yeah, it's nice that some people come in and some go. I don't expect people to watch me paint for 1.5 or 2 hours straight. No, not that interesting. Let me see. Where's my medium? Where's my medium? Maybe I need a coffee break soon. Oh, it's so annoying. Go away. Like this, yeah. There's only 8 thumbs up by now, and I need more. Give me more thumbs up. Even if you don't think it's good. So now, just gonna add some. So, I actually figured this one was quite nice. When I'm gonna do the neons here, I will actually use the white ones here. But for kind of drawing like this, it's best to have that is a little bit more stiffer. I think. So now, there. This one goes more in. Okay, this one goes a little bit more like this. His nose, is it really broader or is it not broader? I don't know. He has this, as I said earlier, this kind of royalty look to him. And he has a very nice watch on. He has a Breitling. I have one also. If I had more money, I would actually buy watches. Because I kind of like Rolex and all kinds of watches actually. Watches reminds me of time, the passage of time. Yeah. Since nobody's asking questions or something, maybe I should just put on some Seneca or something. Or just sharp and paint. Or just stock. I should start to add RS oh god, yeah, to my video. I never really, my girl is laughing when I'm saying ASMR or ASMR or ASM, yeah, whatever. Make ASMR videos where I talk like, talk like this, very calm, and then I can talk about life and everything, the beauty, ASMR. Asmir. Yeah, I know. Sounds stupid. But I did it my way. I used to be able to sing many years ago. Shouldn't bother people with that, that's for sure. I'm not going to do piano concerts either. I just want to learn. I just want to sit down and do some. What I should do is become, if I were a conceptual artist, I could be so arrogant that I was, classical music is so bourgeois. It is so tacky. What I'm doing is expressing my inner emotions. I don't need to learn notes or technique. My intuition takes over. And that is basically art today, sadly. And pisses me off. So sad, we're so superficial. Wish we could actually, because most people are very ignorant to things, and if you can actually hide behind relativism, you can get away with basically anything. You see it especially in religions. I mean, what people actually believe in, a flying horse-like donkeys and perfect yeah, you know what I mean. Muhammad, perfect prophets. I mean, Robert Smith, not in The Cure of course, but a Mormon guy, which found these, or says he found these gold plates with a new Bible on it, and people believe in this stuff. And it's almost like there is no limit to what people can believe in, and it's okay. It was, when we didn't know better and we didn't know what lightning was and we didn't know anything, it's kind of logical to think there was a God with a hammer. And as they say, your God was nailed to a cross. My God has a hammer. Any questions? Any questions? But anyway, it's so easy, and the same thing happens in art. Much of the art scene, especially in conceptualism, it is basically a religion. It is sectaric, it is superficial, it is narcissistic, and it's just full of bullshit. And these people actually, some of them would actually like to eradicate basically art history and start over. In the 70s, the communists and the socialists, they wanted to destroy everything and everything that was of beauty and basically start over. And yeah. So the arts are, if people knew better and was able to say, you know what, it is bullshit because it is no skill. Everything that doesn't have the dimension of skill is, to me anyway, totally uninteresting. It doesn't really reflect human ingenuity or human potential. It just reflects some thoughts in somebody's narcissistic head. And it would be very easy for me to learn to play the piano if I could actually call myself a conceptualist. It would be easy to create paintings. And many of these people are actually, I would say they are close to being psychopaths, and they are so good at selling their bullshit that people actually, they don't have any language to push back. It's like when I went to art school, conceptualism was so in among the students, and it still is in Norwegian, especially in Norwegian academia and arts. You have this fight between more classical styles or more skill-based art. I call it more skill-based art, which of course is what art means. Art means actually having a skill, being able to do something with technique, which is difficult. That is the original meaning of the word art. Skill, a trade, or yeah. But these people are fighting a battle against skill-based art. And the people just don't give a shit, you know. As they say that maybe 5% of the Norwegian population is actually interested in art at all, and the conceptualist artists are basically making art for themselves. It is the artists who go to the exhibitions, it is the artists who's giving the oil revenue to artists, you know, because in a way basically the art scene is financed by the state, and you know, sitting there giving money to one another. So basically artists who make art for artists. What I do is kind of making art more for people, or the common man, or whatever. Because people like to be, and I've noticed this, people like to be impressed. Normal people that actually can't really be tricked into believing all this rhetorical bullshit. They want to see skill, they want to see something that is difficult, something they can't do themselves easily. And also the entitlement of the conceptual artist is just amazing. It's almost like the obesity, you know, this body positive thing, when really fat people demand 2 seats in a plane and complain that it's actually the airline's fault that they have to suffer. And it's ridiculous. They should pay for the 2 seats, and they should be told the truth. You are the cause, you can fix it, or you can just F off. And the same thing with art, you know, we have this entitlement, and I'm so sick of it. I'm really sick of it, you know. You see that all over the place. You're a man, you want to be a woman? I have no problem. Just don't tell me that I'm a bigot if I don't want to date you, okay? But they do that, like the women in sports thing. Men in women's sports, when they destroyed swimming, they destroyed, even, have you seen that fight with the MMA kind of basically cross-dresser who be beating up this poor girl in MMA? It's just crazy to look at, you know. Yeah, it's the same thing in art. It's horrible. Entitlement, and they have this some of the figurative artists too. They get this kind of Übermensch belief about their own. Just because you can actually put some paint on some canvas, it doesn't mean that you're a god. It just means that you have learned yourself a skill that people normally don't do. Which in my opinion, everyone can become highly skilled I do, maybe it's a little to be willing to go the last mile, you know, the people who go all the way has some mania like me. They have ADHD, so-called ADHD. I don't view ADHD to be a disease at all. It's just a genetic variation that make people more, shall we say, more more thoughtful, maybe, because they have so many inner struggles with holding up their dopamine and feeling even. And you know, when you do have to fight every day the day goes like this, you have to kind of think more, and that is maybe the thing that gives. And also, when you have ADHD with a little bit of mania, you get a very high reward when it comes to dopamine and peace of mind when you do creative work. So since we actually get so much peace of mind from doing it, and we become so happy when we actually manage to do the work, we are able to stand the extra mile and become a little bit better maybe than the average person. But it's hard to say, because but I think every human being on the planet can be basically very good at everything. And I don't think there is maybe a small genetic component for the ones who become the absolute best, and I'm not counting myself in here. I'm just a former welder, which started doing this when he was like 21 or something like that. And I had no skill, which I talk about in my video, one of the talk videos I have on my channel, where I show my old artworks and why I don't believe in talent. Because could I actually learn to paint? Anyone can, and that is my opinion about that. But there is this thing, you know, the people who don't give up. Just like me, I have a double hip replacement, and I still do taekwondo. Even one of my hips have loosened, so I have to do another operation. But I don't give in. I don't give up. I just keep banging on, and because it's all over good for me. So it is the people who give up that doesn't really. So maybe there is a genetic component to not giving up, but you can't know who has it or who doesn't in the first place. And most people who actually fall in love with something they do will be good at it if they can actually have the resources or the capability of doing it. So yeah. You can't, like playing the piano, I know I'm not going to become Glenn Gould, okay? I know. It's too late, it's, then I have to start, and I have kind of thick hands, but my fingers aren't that long. So for me to play Rachmaninoff would just be ridiculous. But, you know, I can have it as a hobby and have fun with it, you know, see what happens. Hopefully I won't make it into one of the things that I don't do, even having a piano now. So I need to kind of maybe start I'm gonna start with what I went to a couple of. I've been to like 4 sessions, and if I start doing it a few, maybe an hour or something every hour or two every day, just in between, I can become quite good, I'm told. So that's what I will do. So how far? 75 minutes. Well, I think I want to go to 90 minutes. So if you're new here now, please give it a thumbs up. And yeah, ask questions. I'll go for another 15 minutes, and then I will close it down, because I also need to have some coffee and some food. Yeah, coffee and food. That is what I need. But it's getting somewhere, and I need to film the process also. So, because I'm making a tutorial. Just think of all the videos that will be on my channel when I'm like 100 years old. The amount, and I can actually see myself age as I paint in video form, like that must be so strange. I see it already. I can see that I'm getting more wrinkles and my skin is not that tight anymore and stuff. I can only go a few years back and I can see quite a big difference. And also I had a lot of stress with all the things that happened, and so I guess that was kind of tattooed also into my face. But on a good day, I say I look quite young still, so yeah. Also the lighting here in here is, the lighting in this studio, it is not a lighting that gives you a good look. But I can't do these paintings with bad lighting. So I just have to live with the fact that I look very ragged in my videos. I'm so vain, you know. As I said many times, vanity saved my life, because with my ADHD and my hypomania, I have been eating too much, I've been training too much, I have been doing so many mistakes that it's strange that I actually managed to stay alive at all. But my vanity always stopped me from going totally over the deep end when it comes to food and alcohol and stuff like that, because I can't see myself in the mirror when I'm hungover, because I can't stand the sight of my sad bloated face. So it kind of saved my life in a way. Vanity saved my life. Vanity is a very good thing. This can be a drive, and a little bit of neurosis can also be a very good thing, because you're never really totally certain on yourself. You kind of think that you always feel that you have to do better, no matter how good you get. And that is of course why I can go back to the art scene. In the arts you don't have to, as long as you can trick your fellow artist into, and the thing also with artists, they can't really speak the truth. It's like you can't really say, you know what, this paper bag or this banana on this wall, it is just bullshit. It is simply bullshit. And I refuse to accept it as anything else. And they can't say that, because it's like denouncing the Holy Spirit, you know. For a Christian, which is of course a death sin, you can't really recover from it. You can't get. And people, oh, Jesus, yeah, that was also a digression, but they said that Jesus forgives everything. Now we have to remember Jesus is not really Jesus, he is actually God in Christian doctrine. So there isn't actually a son, okay? That is of course sacrilege that will get me burned a few hundred years ago. But it's a sacrilege to say in the art scene that, you know, it looks like bullshit, it smells like bullshit, there's no skill, and it's like, it quacks like a duck, it walks like a duck, it's probably a duck. When you feel something is just bullshit, even if you're not trained in the art scene and have all the theories and all the babble, all the relativistic speech, if you feel something is bullshit, it usually is bullshit. If you see something that demands skill and which is hard to do, and you feel it's good, it is objectively good because it's difficult, and everything that is difficult is good, period. In my view, it's the only criteria an art object or any object needs to have. If it's difficult, it is good. Of course, you can say going up to Mount Everest when thousands of other people have done the same thing and die on the way up just because it's difficult is probably not a good thing, or it's probably difficult to commit suicide, but it's not a good thing when you do it. Or maybe it is a good thing because you don't have to suffer through this life thing that's going to end anyway. I think I'm the master of digression. I think it's nice that people actually, it's not that many, but people come in and out there and watching, maybe pick something up and they go about their day or evening. I guess in New York now, if you're watching in America, it's like, what time is it now actually? I think it's like 11:38 in the evening here, PM. So in New York now it's basically 6 or 5:20 maybe. So it's a 6-hour difference. If it's in Norway, it's actually soon to be midnight. So that is why it's quite difficult to do streams actually, because the audience is, my audience anyway, is, I don't know how maybe I should check out what kind of, who's mostly watching my videos. I haven't done that. So, anyway, 84, 6 minutes left, I think. 1.5 hours is totally enough. So if you have a question, if you're new, please give a thumbs up. Also check out my Patreon and stuff like that if you want to support my work. But if you want to ask a question now's the time, because I'm closing down in like 5 or 6 minutes. So if you need to ask a question, I will be happy to answer it now. And if you see this in hindsight, of course, you can ask questions in the comment section, and I will get back to you when I see it. So. Yeah. Yeah, it's 5 minutes left, so if you want to ask me some questions, now it's the time to do it. If people have done it, I'll probably prolong the stream a little bit. I've been talking about art, I've been talking about life, I've been talking about everything that interests me. The great thing when I feel good like now, it seems like it is in a way both sad and nice at the same time. If I'm depressed and feel like shit, it's like, oh, life seems too long, I wish I didn't exist. And when I paint and I feel great, it's just like I could do this forever, you know. I can't actually picture going to heaven or something like that, because what will you do with eternity? But actually living on earth forever and doing my art and just living and watching the seasons come and go and make love and eat food and just be creative. It is kind of a thing I could do forever in a way. Of course, if you had more time, you didn't kind of have to stress, because even time is running out. You never know when you get into your 50s and getting older. You never know how long you're gonna last. I've seen so many people die, so of my friends from my childhood and other people too. So there's not really a guarantee for anything. So memento mori. Every day, remember you're going to die, and try to use life. I need to do some stream with Seneca. He has some very nice audio books out on YouTube, and yeah, the shortness of life, as it's called. Lucius Seneca. Actually, I think the Seneca books is better than Marcus Aurelius. But Marcus Aurelius didn't really try to create poetry. He didn't really try to create any. He was doing it basically. He was writing diaries basically for himself. And it's like me. I also been writing a lot and stuff about life, but I never actually thought about, oh, I need to do, you know, make it into poetry. It's just pure thoughts onto the paper. And I use paper. I like to do it manually because it gives the same flow as painting. It's a very nice flow, writing. You don't have to write anything. I notice one thing, when everything is quite good and I don't have much struggle, I don't feel I have much to write about, but then just write about that, you know. You don't need to write an essay every time you sit down with your book. Just write some thought. What did I do today? How was the day? So it becomes this kind of almost like a time capsule or something like that. You know? So when I was inside, I was writing every day because I needed to get all my thoughts out and stuff. And at some point I will go back and start writing my prison memoir, which is going to be called, what was the title again? Heartbreaking Punishment. Because I was also heartbroken when I went to prison. It was really hard, you know, going to a prison and really heartbroken from guess a nice person I had in my life back then. And that was rough, but it was, yeah, so writing was a great part of my evenings, to vent and find that peace, that inner peace. This is a bit starting to actually become better now. Well, this was exactly 90 minutes, and there's no, see there's 11 people watching right now. If anyone wants to answer a question, you have to do it now. And after the fact, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. And as I always say, check out my Patreon. You can also buy me a coffee if you want to be a sweetheart. And I will try to figure out how to notify the people before I go live. I tried to do today 3 times actually, but I didn't know how to, because I see people actually have managed to make, you know, they are putting out when live stream actually is gonna start, but I haven't figured out how to do it yet, so I just start up and hope for the best. I'm talking to my own computer, but you're actually here, so yeah. Now, okay, thanks for watching, and keep painting, and I will upload this so you can actually see it in hindsight if you like to do it. Also, remember, share it with your friends on social media, because I need all the help I can, because my channel has problems getting into the algorithm for some fucking reason. I don't know. I shouldn't say that. Anyway, have a good night and hope to see you in my next video.